As a female Drosophila melanogaster, you might think I wouldn't care which of these two males I mated with. They look essentially the same, but it turns out they are actually two different species. There are several closely related species in the Drosophila melanogaster subgroup, and it is very difficult to tell them apart. And Drosophila simulans and Drosophila melanogaster are essentially identical externally. However, it does matter to me which I mate with. This is because in the time that our two as species have been separated since our common ancestor, mutations have caused each population to differ slightly from the others. So in some of the genes, the amino acid sequence is a little different and thus the protein is a little different. In some examples, there is a change in expression so that one species makes more of the protein, one species makes less of the protein, and it turns out these differences have added up. Now, when we try to mate together, our offspring are at a disadvantage. Some cases exist where the offspring are sterile, particularly the males. So there are cases where this species crosses with that species, and the males are infertile, but the females are. There are other examples where perhaps just the males or perhaps both male and female hybrids aren't viable and they die. Because Drosophila is so well studied, we actually know which genes are causing some of these problems. There are actually speciation genes which are contributing to the sterility of hybrids or the inviability of hybrids, thus encouraging females like myself to only mate with her species. Otherwise, her hybrid offspring would die or be infertile, and all of her energies into producing the next generation would be wasted. These speciation genes have various effects. They may bind to DNA, they may help chromosomes assort correctly, they may control the reproduction of these jumping genes in the genome known as transposable elements. And in hybrids, these transposable elements may now begin to replicate without control. In any case, because of the genetic differences which have arisen between my species of Drosophila melanogaster and the male of this species, Drosophila simulans, it would be better if I didn't try to mate with him and produce offspring. The offspring are less likely to survive and be fertile. I should probably try to mate only with my own species, the males of Drosophila melanogaster.